अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्णिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8, Text 30. The chapter entitled Lord Krishna shows the universal form. Hasta agrahye rajayati vidim pitaka ulukhala adyaihi. A little different Sanskrit, difficult Sanskrit. Hastya grahye rasayati vidim pitakolu kaladyaihi. हस्ताग्राह्ये रचयति विधिं पीठकोलु कलाध्यैः। छिद्रं हि अन्तर्निहिता वयुनः शिक्या भाण्डेषु तद्वित्। छिद्रं हि अन्तर्निहिता वयुना शिक्य भाण्डेषु तद्वित्। छिद्रं हि अन्तर्निहिता वयुनः शिक्य भाण्डेषु तद्वित्। ध्वान्त आगारे धृतमणिगणं स्व अंगम् अर्थप्रदीपम्। ध्वान्तागारे धृतमणिगणं स्वाङ्गमर्थप्रदीपम्। ध्वान्तागारे धृतमणिगणं स्वाङ्गम् अर्थप्रदीपम्। काले गोप्यः यर्हि गृहकृत्येषु सुव्याघ्रचित्ताः। काले गोप्यो यर्हि गृहकृत्येषु सुव्याघ्रचित्ताः। काले गोप्यो यर्हि गृहकृत्येषु सुव्यग्रचित्ताः। हस्त्याग्राह्ये रचयति विधिं पीठकोलुखलाद्यैः। छिद्रं हि अन्तर्निहिता वयुनः शिक्य भाण्डेषु तद्वित्। ध्वान्तागारे धृतमणिगणं स्वाङ्गम् अर्थप्रदीपम्। कालो गोप्यो यर्हि गृहकृत्येषु सुव्यग्रचित्ताः। Hastya agrahye. When the destination is out of the reach of his hands, Rachayati, he arranges to make with him a means, Pitaka, by wooden planks piled together, Ulukhala Adyaihi, and by overturning the stone mortar for grinding spices, Chidram, a hole, he indeed, Antanihita, about the contents of the pot, Vayunaha, with such knowledge, Shikya, hanging by a swing, Bandesho, in the pots, Tatvet, expert in that knowledge, or in full knowledge, Dvanta Agare, in a very dark room, Dhritamaniganam, because of being decorated with valuable jewels, Swaangam, his own body, Artha Pradipam, is the light required for seeing in darkness. Kale, after that, in due course of time, Gopyaha, the elderly gopis, Yarhi, as soon as Grihakrityesho, in discharging household affairs, Suvyagrachittaha, are busily engaged. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When the milk and curd are kept high on a swing hanging from the ceiling and Krishna and Balaram cannot reach it, they arrange to reach it by piling up various planks and turning upside down the mortar for grinding spices. Being quite aware of the contents of the pot, they pick holes in it. While the elderly gopis go about their household affairs, Krishna and Balaram sometimes go into a dark room, brightening the place with the valuable jewels and ornaments on their bodies, and taking advantage of this light by stealing. Can you repeat the translation? When the milk and curd are kept high on a swing, hanging from the ceiling, and Krishna and Balaram cannot reach it, they arrange to reach it by piling up various planks and turning upside down the mortar for grinding spices. Being quite aware of the contents of a pot, they pick holes in it, while the elderly gopis go about their household affairs. Krishna and Balaram sometimes go into a dark room, brightening the place with the valuable jewels and ornaments on their bodies, and taking advantage of this light by stealing. Purport. Formerly, in every household, yogurt and butter were kept for use in emergencies. But Krishna and Balaram would pile up planks so that they could reach the pots, and would then pick holes in the pots with their hands so that the contents would leak out and they could drink it. This was another means for stealing butter and milk. When the butter and milk were kept in a dark room, Krishna and Balaram would go there and make the place bright with the valuable jewels on their bodies. On the whole, Krishna and Balaram engaged in stealing butter and milk from the neighborhood houses in many ways. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda purport and translation to Canto 10, Chapter 8, text number 30 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitiramine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yet another beautiful pastime and pastimes of Lord Krishna is being spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. It is the kindness of the Acharyas that they are revealing the confidential, very confidential pastimes of the Lord, wherein it will reach even to the mundane people, ordinary people. Today, by the grace of Shukadeva Goswami and by the grace of Prabhupada, this Bhagavatam is available in so many languages that now even ordinary persons like us are able to delve into this most confidential pastimes of Krishna. It is actually meant for the Paramahamsas. That is why Bhagavatam has another name called Paramahamsa Samhita. It's called Paramahamsa Samhita. Last class I said this Bhagavatam is called Srimad Bhagavatam, and I explained the reason for that. Today there is another name we are discussing, which is quoted by Prabhupada. Is there in the scriptures? It is called Paramahamsa Samhita. So this Bhagavatam is meant actually for the Paramahamsas. This is explained in the Bhagavatam only, it is explained. First canto, first chapter, second verse. Dharma projita kaito atra paramo nirmat saranam satam. This Bhagavatam is meant for those who are completely free from all envy, material envy. It is actually meant for pure devotees. But for conditioned souls like us also, it acts as medicine. For a Paramahamsa, this Bhagavatam is simply relishable. Simply relishable. But for those who are not Paramahamsas or completely purified souls, this Bhagavatam acts as a medicine. Bhavaushadi Shrotra Mano Abhirama. This was told by Parikshit Maharaj. Even for conditioned souls like us, this acts as a medicine for materialistic people. And it is also very pleasing. Mano Abhirama. Rama means pleasing. Very pleasing to the mind. Mano Abhirama. That means this Bhagavatam is very pleasing to the mind. Even for a conditioned soul. We hear these pastimes, it is so nice to hear. But Srimad Bhagavatam can be fully relished only by pure devotees. They can take complete advantage of the contents of the Srimad Bhagavatam because of their purified senses. So, Paramahamsa Samhita. Although it is meant for Paramahamsa, still ordinary persons or materialistic persons are also able to hear this transcendental literature by the grace of the Acharyas. So, in order to relish this, particularly these pastimes connected with Lord Krishna, one has to be on a certain transcendental platform in order to relish, appreciate, and take full benefit of it. So, one has to purify his senses. Then one can take better advantage of these pastimes of the Lord. Although hearing these pastimes itself is very pleasing, yet we may consider all these pastimes to be mundane, to be like ordinary affairs of children of this world. There is a gulf of difference when Lord Krishna performs these wonderful pastimes with his devotees from the spiritual world to the naughty activities enacted by children of this world. It's a gulf of difference. All of the Lord's activities are transcendental, and all of our activities in this material world are mundane, not transcendental. Our activities are binding. The Lord's activities are liberating and simply causes transcendental bliss. All of Krishna's leelas are simply a source of transcendental bliss. And all of material activities are simply emerging from ignorance and a cause of bondage, the cause of suffering. Not liberating, not the source of transcendental bliss. So these distinctions has to be made, has to be understood. Very important. Actually, Krishna and Balaram are revealing these very intimate, confidential pastimes to the devotees in Gokula. Others may misunderstand. That is why for others it is simply Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna came to the battlefield, he didn't speak any of his pastimes. I told that in the last class. Krishna didn't talk any of his pastimes because the crowd is different. The audience is different. The people are there in the battlefield are not necessarily his devotees, except for the Pandavas, Bhishma, like that. So Krishna could not have spoken about his transcendental pastimes. They are on a completely material platform. So Krishna only gave instructions to come out of material platform, out of bodily platform. In other words, these patterns can be properly relished only if you come out of the bodily concept of life. Therefore, Krishna stressed so much in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, you're not the body, you're a spirit soul. Your identity is not connected with this body or your family, the society, the community, the country, the place of birth. You have nothing to do with any of these things. These are mundane, material, temporary, circumstantial, based on your artificially acquired qualities and desires because of the association with the three modes. You acquire different kinds of desires, different kinds of mindset, inclinations, emotions, all mundane. You have no clue about the spirit soul and the spirit soul's original nature, original emotions, original relationship, original love. You have no clue. Those who have absolutely no clue, they like the position of a fetus in the mother's womb, completely in a helpless state. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. A fetus in the mother's womb is a completely helpless state. It's a packed up, no, in the womb. Like that, those who are in Tamoguna are completely unaware of their spiritual nature. That's why some people, at least in India, it's not so difficult to find. You just move out of India. You can actually meet people who have absolutely no clue of spirit. You tell them also, first time they'll be hearing in their life this word called Atma or spirit. You'll be shocked. Seriously, I'm telling you. Because I have met people like that. That's why. Probably you're meeting every second person or every first person is an Indian. You meet any Westerner. Absolutely, even the word spirit they wouldn't have heard in their life. And there is something called a spirit different from the body. That is too much for them to hear. Just like for people, if you talk about Vedas or even Bhagavatam philosophy, it's so difficult to sit in the class. So like that it is for them, you tell about spirit and matter, it's like they'll get heated up. Very soon. They cannot sit, they cannot hear, they cannot even understand. And you say consciousness, that also they don't understand. They don't understand. Only body. That means too much covered by Tamoguna. So those who are simply leading a life in bodily concept, I am this body, this is my family, this is my work, this is my existence, this is my identity, this is what life is about, and there's nothing like left next life, means that subject doesn't come in picture basically. The subject doesn't come in picture. Past life, future life doesn't come in picture. That means he is in Tamoguna. He cannot think beyond this body. That means he is in animal consciousness. Because animal cannot think beyond its body. Beyond its body means what do you mean? Bodily necessities. That's all his existence and life is. Ahara nidra bhaya maituna. Eating, sleeping, mating, dipping. That's all the animal can think about. Similarly, any human being who can think about only these things and nothing transcendental, he is considered an animal according to the Vedic literatures. I'm not saying this is what the Vedas are saying, but it's a lesson for us, for me also. So, if you see the arrangements, if there are no arrangements for educating a person about spirit, different from the body, and about one's spiritual identity, spiritual existence, human life is wasted. Thoroughly wasted in the activities of simply eating and sleeping and mating and defense, which even animals are doing. So you lose this precious life. It's very serious. So these, forget these pastimes. These are in a supra. These are in a transcendental state. These leelas of the Lord. Supra means it's transcendental, highest. quality of Leelas. And we are on the mundane platform, in contrast. How we can appreciate, especially materialistic persons, they will just take it lightly, not seriously. For the Lord to reveal these pastimes is very, very special. It is His extreme kindness that the Lord is manifesting these pastimes in Gokula, in our place, having come to our place. It is extreme kindness. The Supreme Lord of all the worlds, performing these intimate, loving pastimes is very special. So, we have to come out of this bodily concept of life and at least accept our spiritual identity. And then the next development will be, what is the origin of this spirit? And then you try to understand that there is a supreme spirit. Then you try to understand that there is a relationship between this tiny spirit and the supreme spirit. And the tiny spirit are unlimited, all the jivas, living entities in different bodies. And the supreme spirit is Krishna. And there's a relationship between us and the Supreme Lord. Every living being and the Supreme Lord. Without exception. These are all fundamentals of spiritual understanding. If we're not thorough or clear about these things, then there's no point in proceeding further. And if one has still doubts about these things, these basics, just like somebody is not very clear about basics of foundation of mathematics, or commerce, or science, he'll simply struggle whole life with that subject. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, if one is not very clear about these basics, you may read together for years, chant for years, still you will be confused. Still you will be faithless. Still you will not develop faith in what Krishna says. And because of the lack of that faith, the issue will be, you will not surrender. You will reserve your surrendering process. You will reserve. There will be a reservation. You will withhold yourself from giving up yourself onto Krishna. Then the soul, the original nature of the soul will not blossom. It will be ever, or it will always remain concealed. No clue as to what is your nature. Simply on the gross platform, we will be living life after life. Therefore, sometimes there's this term called, we are eternally conditioned souls, Baddha Jiva. But there's another term called Mukta Jiva, ever liberated soul. Eternally liberated, eternally conditioned. So, it is a matter of choice. Whether you want to be eternally bound by this material body, material conditioning, material consciousness, or you want to become liberated from this material identity, which is an engagement to the soul, imprisonment of the soul. Imprisonment of the soul. So, Shastras say actually we are imprisoned. How? By this material body. This material body is a cage. Just like in a cage, you are not free to do anything what you want. This material body restricts you in so many ways. Very imprisoned. We have no choice, no freedom with this material body. And material body means simply source of miseries, a breeding ground for miseries. This is what Shastras say, which is actually a fact. Objectively, you can think about it. Spend some time. See, Shastras are such that it requires time for reflection. If you don't give time, then it is very difficult. But without prejudice, you have to give time to reflect upon these statements of the Shastra. Absolute statements of the Shastra. Should not be prejudiced. Without prejudice, give a thought, serious thought. Then it will sink, it will strike. because the words of the Shastra are absolute truth. It's not subject to time. And primarily, the words of the Shastra are focused on elevating the soul or liberating the soul from material consciousness. This is the primary purpose of the Vedas, which is rarely understood, and we become busy with simply performing the rituals without knowing the purpose behind it. This is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. So many things are discussed, but people don't discuss second chapter. They only want Krishna's pastimes, if at all. People are not interested much in Bhagavad Gita. But if the foundation is not clear, then how do you appreciate these pastimes? What is all this going on? What is the Parabrahman absolute truth doing here? That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we should not show any laziness in understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Because if you understand the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna kindness, then you will see it to be strikingly wonderful. This is the exact words used. You will see it to be strikingly wonderful. And it is also explained that if you take the trouble to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, then the deep in the heart, the doubts which are actually not allowing us to surrender to Krishna, they'll all go away. So one should discuss the philosophical points. One must discuss philosophical points. Very important. But from the viewpoint of the Shastra, all the pramana must be based on Shastra, not on speculation. Not on speculation. Speculation is waste of time. It's your opinion. Speculation is generally opinionated. It is not absolute. So there is no use of speculative discussions and arguments. We want pramana. Pramana means from the Veda, from the Purana. This is what Rupa Goswami said. He said that Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpata Yaiva Kalpate. That any spiritual practice which does not have reference to Shruti, Smriti and Puranas. Pancharatrika, Shruti, Smriti, Purana and Pancharatrika and Adi, connected to these literatures. It is simply a disturbance to the society. I mean, how can spirituality be a disturbance? Yeah, it will be a concoction. Mental concoction, some speculative debate without pramanas from the acharyas, from the texts of Veda Vyasa. Simply a disturbance. Disturbance meaning it will be misleading. Just like today, yesterday, somebody met me. They were asking something. What do you think about this person, that person? Because there are so many people claiming to be spiritualists today. But they don't have any pramana from the Shastra on what they speak. Now we are speaking from the pages of Bhagavatam, directly taking the verses. Simply we repeat the text. And we also correlate this verse, this text, that chapter, this literature, Vedic literature, and this lecture by the Acharya, commentary by the Acharya we quote. They think, Prabhu, this all we know, tell something new. New means nonsense, as per the Vedic understanding. You means you are a nonsense, simply a nonsense. It is simply your high, wild speculation. Manufactured in the fertile brain, in your fertile brain. Brain is a factory for manufacturing ideas and speculations. It's a thought factory, idea factory, filled with speculations, imaginations, unprovable conclusions and truths. So we're not interested in that. That is called asat. It is rejected by the Vedic followers. Asat. Untruth. Simply imaginative, speculative. very interested in Param Satyam. That's what Vyasadeva says in the beginning. This literature is focused on not Asat, Sat and Param Satyam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Vyasadeva says in the first verse of the Bhagavatam, opening verse of Bhagavatam, Satyam Param Dhimahi. I am meditating on the absolute truth, not temporary truth. Absolute truth, not relative truth. Temporary truth means relative truth, or relative truth means temporary truth, because people sometimes they don't understand. ISKCON, we use these two words, relative truth and absolute truth. Somehow they don't get it. The simple words, relative truth means temporary truth. Not false. It's not that it is false, it's temporary truth. Absolute truth means eternal truth, unchanging truth. Truth in all phases of time, in all circumstances, that is absolute truth. And that absolute truth, Dhimahi, as they say by meditating, who is that? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That is Vasudeva. The absolute truth is Vasudeva. Unchangeable, unchanging in all circumstances, at all times. Vasudeva is eternally the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavate. Eternally. His position is unchangeable. That Vasudeva we are discussing. Not some ordinary, mundane personality. So, here we see that, so therefore to appreciate these pastimes, we have to slowly come to the spiritual platform. These pastimes are performed on the spiritual platform, but we are discussing on the material platform. See the aberration? See the incongruency, mismatch. Incongruency means, I mean to say, mismatch. We are in the material platform. Lord is performing the leelas in the spiritual platform. What a mismatch. And we are reading those pastimes. Maybe by good fortune we may appreciate, which is good. But many a times, mostly, we will undermine these pastimes, or take it lightly, or just brush it off. Not very serious. Not very serious. People don't take it seriously. Especially sometimes the Vedic scholars, they don't take these things very seriously. They are so interested in chanting Vedic mantras. That is also discussed in Bhagavatam only. You will see the later chapters, we will see that. That the Brahmanas, who are not exactly devotees of the Lord, are busy chanting so many Vedic mantras, but they don't know that the same Vedic mantras are actually, to whom it is meant for, is Krishna. But they don't have feelings of love for Krishna. And what purpose these Vedic mantras are availing them? Of what purpose are these Vedic mantras are for the Brahmanas then? If they cannot develop their ecstatic love for Krishna, all the Vedic chants and following all the Vedic procedures and rituals, for what use? What purpose? They only don't know. Why are they chanting the Vedic mantras? To whom are they chanting these Vedic mantras? What is the expectation from chanting of the Vedic mantras? Why perform these rituals and follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedas? What is the goal? What is the purpose? It's a big question mark. They don't even go to that point. Just like I said to the Westerners, they don't go to the point of next life and all. Doesn't exist. Atma says that means that discussion basically doesn't come. Whole life you can live, performing work, earning money, saving some money, investing somewhere, taking care of family, busy with their routine works, milk bill, electricity bill, friends come, have some Sunday party, nice feasting, nice outing. Whole life can go away like that with absolutely no reference to spirit. That subject doesn't come in their life only. Like that, sometimes it gets stuck up so much with the Vedic chanting and mantras and this and that and all this in Sanskrit and all this. What? Even there are some people who worship the deity just as a matter of livelihood and profession, without feelings, without emotions. Just do it. No feelings. How will you advance in Krishna consciousness? How will you advance? Unless we do these things consciously. That's why Prabhupada says International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Without consciousness, it simply remains on material platform. Without Krishna consciousness, things remain simply on mundane platform. This is the discussion done by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya on the banks of Godavari. It's a very beautiful episode. You should read it in detail way. Maybe I think time is not there. I'll just touch up on that. You can read that. It is there in the Madhya Leela, chapter 8. Conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. Amazing conversation. You get a very clear picture of the position of this ISKCON movement and Krishna consciousness movement. From the basis of Shastra, what are we propagating in ISKCON or the Krishna consciousness movement? As opposed to those who are Vedic followers. We are also Vedic followers. Then what is the difference then? That you will get to know what is the difference. What we are telling, we are doing, and generally what is practiced. Because by and large, people are in material platform. Hardly there's an opportunity to discuss about spirit. Even that is a great blessing to discuss about spirit. It is simply but bad fortune or misfortune that people have no opportunity even to discuss about spirit. And if somebody is able to engage himself in devotional service, loving devotional service, the manifestation of highest fortune for the jiva. So how do we come to that level of highest level of devotional service, loving devotional service, from being in material platform, mundane platform? Therefore, in that conversation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, please tell me quoting from revealed scriptures concerning the ultimate goal of life. You see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Bhagavan Krishna himself, and he is saying to Ramananda Raya, one of the pure devotees of the Lord, from the revealed scriptures, please recite a verse concerning the ultimate goal of life. See how the Lord is setting the standard? From the scriptures you quote, not from your speculation or from your experience. Your experience is immediate. Your experience also may be wrong. Some people depend so much on their experience. Their experiences may be wrong. Your experience may be wrong. Your perception may be wrong. Your understanding itself may be wrong. How are you so sure of that? And we want to ride on that experience and push that on others. That's what people do most of the times here when it comes to discussion. They try to rub all their points, their realization upon us. That may be imperfect. How are you so sure of your realizations? That is perfect. How are you sure? Are you a liberated soul free from all the human defects? To be sure that all your realizations are all perfect? Therefore, we depend on Shastra. It's all perfect. So then Ramananda Raya says that being completely on a material platform, how to come to the transcendental platform and then to the loving platform of loving devotional service to the Lord. And in those platforms, in that platform, these leelas are enacted by the Lord. You have to understand that. Unless you have this background, reading of these things, no doubt will have some effect. But if you want to fully benefit, you should have a full background before you read these pastimes. Then you really relish that Parabrahman, that Supreme Lord, doing such wonderful leelas. Such nice things the Lord is doing. You will properly relish. So, Ramananda Raya begins with saying that He first of all quotes Varnashtama Acharavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnur Aradhyate Pantha Na Anyat Tat Tosha Karanam. He quotes this verse, meaning that because considering the ultimate goal of life, because even that also people don't have time to discuss, or they're not interested. If they have time, they're not interested. That is misfortune, or lack of education, lack of spiritual education, or necessity of spiritual education in the society. People are not interested in the subject. Why they're not interested? Lack of education, simply that's all. Just like the government does so many awareness programs to tell them the importance of engineering. Everybody wants to be an engineer. UPSC, everybody wants to be UPSC, participate in UPSC exams. Medical field, because there's a awareness program. It's a necessity. It's a fact. So government stresses the importance, the necessity. So then there is systematic education, promotion, awareness. And the parents also insist, the teachers insist, the society insists, neighbors insists. When you go for a job, they insist. So everywhere it is tied up so nicely that it becomes a necessity for you. Better you study. It is important. Whole setup is done properly. Otherwise, you think somebody will study. Rarely people will study. Those who have some Brahminical inclination, only they will study. Even mundane subject, they will not study otherwise. See, rarely they will study. So, unless, at least initially, there is some kind of education, people will not take it up seriously. Similarly, spiritual education. Unless there is education, people will not take it seriously. What is the spirit? What is my concern about this? So what if I don't know spirit? So what if I don't chant Hare Krishna? So what if I don't know Krishna? My life is going on. What is the necessity? So that itself, such basics are also not there in the society. In the home, you see, typically, you may be coming, but the family may not be that much in Krishna consciousness. It's so sad. They're not even aware of its basic necessity of Krishna consciousness. It's a basic necessity. We're not talking about advanced thing. Advanced devotional service. We're not talking about that. And these are advanced devotional topics present in Bhagavatam. They discard it as fiction, mythology. Okay, time pass. Okay, you are too much stressed, you can read this. At least relieve yourself from stress. This is how they take these pastimes. It's very serious. Why Shukadeva Goswami is telling to a person who is about to die? Parikshit Maharaj is about to die. And you see what is the remedy he is giving? Somebody is going to die. Come, I'll tell you one story. Oh, what is this? And you think Shukadeva Goswami is not conscious of what he is speaking? He is talking about creation. Even, okay, this also looks funny. Logically, if you analyze, somebody is going to die. Come, I'll tell you a story. Somebody is going to die. Come, I'll tell you how many planets are there. Fifth canto. Somebody is going to die. Then come, I'll tell you how this tongue came, this eyes came, the sense of taste came, sense of seeing came. Anyway, I'm going to quit all the sense of taste and seeing. Why are you describing sense of taste and seeing? What is my bother? What is my problem? What is my concern about how this tongue came and this eyes came and these ears came, how the mountains came? What is my concern here? I'm going to die now. You think Shukadeva Goswami does not know? He is fully conscious of what he is speaking. There is a connection, everything to Parikshit Maharaj. And his question of what a human being must do to attain perfection in life, and especially at the point of death. And for which he is describing all these things. Shukadeva Goswami. So it is not irrelevant. It's very, very relevant. So, because the formula is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam mapi smaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram. Tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever you remember, whatever state of being, whatever state one's remembrance is in, one's consciousness is absorbed in, that state he will attain next life. So whatever you're remembering, your consciousness is dominated with, that kind of life you will attain in the next birth, Krishna is telling. Therefore, it is very important that one should maintain one's Krishna consciousness. And it's not easy because all the time we're absorbed in material consciousness. How to attain the state of Krishna consciousness? It's a state. State means it's a position of existence. Your thought, your feelings, your goal, your drive, your craving, what is it towards? If that is one of Krishna consciousness, then you are safe. Otherwise, you will get entangled in cycle of birth and death. So therefore, how to pull out the soul from this trap, entanglement? For Ramananda Rai says that as far as considering the ultimate goal of life, he says, beginning, of course, this is the beginning of the discussion. Ramananda Rai says that one should perform his duties in accordance with Varnashtama principles, with the aim of pleasing Vishnu. So you should perform your Varnashtama duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or that is as far as the Varna is concerned, and as far as the Ashtama is concerned, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. So one among them, whichever is suited best to the individual as per his physiological and psychological condition. One particular Varna and one particular Ashtama will suit the person best, which is decided by the Guru generally, not by the individual. I don't decide. The Guru decides whether you have to be a Brahmachari or a Grahastha or a Vanaprastha or a Sannyasi, whether you're Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. The Guru decides by his experience and wisdom. Understanding on what basis? Understanding your physiological and psychological status. Guna and karma, not by birth. Not by birth. So doing one's duties in the Varna and Ashtama with the aim of pleasing Vishnu, that is the way to attain ultimate goal of life. Ramananda Rai says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no. Ehi bahya. This is simply, eho bahya. This is simply external. Aage kaha ara. Please delve more deep into the subject matter. Please tell me other means. Because simply executing one's duty, still one remains in material platform. These are material duties, not transcendental duties. The duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are material, mundane platform, not transcendental, not spiritual. Okay, it may be the beginning with the aim of pleasing Vishnu. If that is not there, then it's completely mundane. Completely mundane. Even performing Brahminical, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha duties without the aim of pleasing Vishnu is totally useless. It doesn't bring about any purification of the soul. One may be engaged in Brahminical activities or Varna activities as per the Vedic direction, Varna rules, and even Ashtama rules. But what is the purpose? The basic purpose is pleasing Vishnu. With that intent one should do. But Chaitanya says, but this is external. Just a beginning. So Ramananda says, then to offer the results of one's activities to Krishna is the essence of all perfection. And therefore Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 28, if I'm correct. That yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat johoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So Ramananda said, one should offer the results of one's work for Krishna. not just do one's work. Of course, Lord Vishnu is pleased if you are engaged in Varnashtama, not in Ugra Karma. Varnashtama, not Ugra Karma. Or not forbidden activities. Varnashtama. Fine. But the Lord will be more pleased if you offer the results of your Varna and Ashtama in the service of the Lord. It's much better. So, but still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you please proceed, speak further on the subject matter. Then he says that better one gives up Varnashtama duties only and takes up sannyas, means basically complete dedication of one's life for the service of Vishnu or Krishna, in the service of Vishnu or Krishna. That's what Krishna said in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. When Krishna said Sarva Dharman, it refers to the Varnashtama. Give up all these dharmas of I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Vaishya, I am a Shudra, I am a Brahmachari, I am a Grahastha, I am a Vanaprastha. No. Give up that. So give up all those occupational duties and simply surrender unto me. I will save you from all sinful reactions and from the effects of giving up the duties on the Varnashtama platform. Somebody may think, oh, you are sinful. You give up your dharma. That's what most people say, right? You give up your dharma. Krishna says, I will absolve you from all those so-called sins. Because you're taking a higher dharma, highest dharma, surrendering unto me. That's what I said. People are confused. They get stuck up. They don't understand the purpose of their duties. Ultimately, it is to elevate the soul to the point of realizing his relationship with the Lord and engaging loving devotional service to the Lord. That is forgotten. Simply busy with doing either material duties or duties even in Varnashrama. Simply people are stuck up. Simply with designations. I am Brahmana, I am Kshatriya, I am Vaishya, I am Brahmachari, I am Grahastha. Simply we are stuck up with these designations. So Chaitanya says, so Ramananda says, we should give up these designations. That's what Krishna said. Anyway, so then Chaitanya says, no, please continue further. So Ramananda says, yes, my Lord, actually you are right. Because if you minutely observe and analyze, there are a lot of faults in the Varnashtama also. We don't have time to discuss that. Maybe Krishna has pointed that in the Bhagavad Gita also. That's why you see how we read Bhagavad Gita depends how you read. Where is Krishna pointed the defects of Varnashtama? When Krishna only spoke about Varnashtama, but the defect meaning it's a much higher platform which we are discussing. That also has to be understood in context. But for common man, Varnashtama is a must. It's the fundamental platform. It's a springboard for him to come to Sattvaguna and then to spiritual platform. Without Varnashtama, it's very difficult. Or without Varnashtama, only one possibility. Directly Krishna consciousness. And that is what the Krishna consciousness movement is promoting. The Varnashtama is a gradual method. It's not going to work. It doesn't work in Kali Yuga because people, Varna Sankara population, where will you establish Varnashtama? You cannot establish Varnashtama. Therefore, Chaitanya's method is directly Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. Anyway, so like that he goes on and on and on. So then, so Ramananda Rai begins with saying, perform devotional service to the Lord, mixed with jnana. Then Chaitanya says, no, it has to be much higher. Then he explains devotional service performed in pure platform, without even the tinge of karma and jnana. That means pure devotional service. Simply to please Krishna. All activities simply to please Krishna. And that can be in 4 ways. Either Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So, in the mood of servitude, accepting the Lord as one's master, eternal master, loving master. That mood of wanting to serve the Lord, in the mood of servitude and becoming ecstatic that one has discovered his master finally. loving eternal master finally. And in that mood, engage in all kinds of services pleasing to the master. He is very conscious that whether my master is pleased. If one is executing devotional service in that mode, that is called Dasya Rasa. And Chaitanya says, yes, this is good. First time Chaitanya said, yes, this is good, I accept. But still go more further. Then he comes to the point of Sakya, where the hierarchy of master and servant is removed, and the oneness of the Lord and the devotee is brought in. Equality. So that is called Sakya Rasa, where the devotee does not feel himself subordinate to the Lord, rather he feels equal to the Lord, because only in that platform friendship is possible, otherwise not. So therefore, so in that mood, the devotee is able to serve the Lord, and the Lord is more pleased with those who are on the Sakya platform. And then he comes to the Vatsalya platform, where Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are situated, where they not even consider the Lord on equal platform, the other way around from the Dasya. They consider the Lord to be their subservient to them. Where in Dasya, the devotee considers himself subservient. But in Vatsalya, the devotee considers the Lord to be subservient and treat him in that way. So in that platform, now these pastimes are discussed. What Krishna is doing with the gopis, with Yashoda, all these pastimes in the rasa of Vatsalya, very special, just to increase transcendental bliss. Whatever the Lord does is simply to increase transcendental bliss, the ocean of transcendental bliss, Anandhambudi Vardhanam. You see, all these pastimes are on that platform, and we have no idea of that platform. Therefore, one has to work to come to Krishna consciousness platform by following the sadhana process and purify the soul, come out of this bodily identity by spiritual practices. So then, once the soul is purified, we can actually relish these pastimes very nicely. So that is why this sadhana bhakti is very important, that we should have a regular sadhana in our life and regular seva. Even though we don't have that feelings to Krishna, by the Acharya making us do this voluntary service, indirectly he is actually inducing us to come closer to Krishna. And by doing this practice devotional service, it will awaken the original devotional service of the soul. That is why seva is extremely important. We must render seva, voluntary service, in any form. It's very, very important. This will gradually elevate our soul to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. An announcement. So we have this book distribution marathon going on. So you can also kindly participate. It's one of the most pleasing service to the Lord. Kindly participate in distributing this knowledge to jivas who have no idea, and Krishna will be very pleased upon those who are able to distribute this knowledge. Even if you cannot preach, you just distribute the book. Book will do everything. So that much we can do, isn't it? I cannot speak and convince people. You don't have to do that. Acharya will do that. You just stand in different places and let people have the access of these books, transcendental literatures. Their life will be saved. They will benefit, we will also benefit. We have this Vaikuntha Ekadashi festival coming up on 30th of this month, December. So darshan will be open from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. So welcome all the devotees to come and attend this Vaikuntha Ekadashi festival and take blessings of the Lord. Hare Krishna. And on December 25th, on the eve of Christmas, of course, happens to be eve of Christmas. So we have got an opportunity to perform Sankirtana like in Dasa we did again from evening 6:15 p.m. till about 6:45 or 7 p.m. in the same palace main stage. The devotees are welcome to come in good numbers and then make this Sankirtana festival a grand success and make thousands of people get the opportunity for hearing Krishna's holy name. uh, Sankirtana being the Yuga Dharma. So on 25th December evening, so you can all come to the palace main stage like we had in Dasara, and take part in the Sankirtana. Hare Krishna.